Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So as you may know, today is Saturday, which means it's time for another video from me, but the thing is, I'm gonna be perfectly honest here, I did not have an idea for today's video until someone came to me in my DMs on Instagram on my account for Dario, and they basically asked me if I could do another life update in a training style video. So here I am, I've got so much to tell you. Ever since I did my last kind of a life update training video, so much new stuff has been happening. I changed schools and so much more. So we're going to talk about all that in this video. I've got a full kettle. It is time for us to sip the tea. So yeah, with that being said, without any further ado, let's just jump straight into this video. It's a beautiful evening on Jorvik. The clouds have turned orange and this is the best moment to get cozy, get yourself some tea, some coffee, whatever you prefer. And let's go ahead and talk about my life for a second because like I said, a lot has happened. Now, first off, I want to jump straight into the school bit, which I mentioned in the intro, because I do think that this topic is something that I should talk about. Some of you may remember, but I was talking so much about going to law school and being so excited around this time last year. Now, let's just say I don't have the same opinion anymore. Now, I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but in high school, I was a full-on Latin student. I loved Latin. I was pretty good at it too. I had pretty good grades, so everyone all over school was telling me, you have to go to university. You cannot waste this chance. Please know that just because you have good grades doesn't mean you have to go to university. If you feel like you want to do something else, please follow your heart and do it, because I made the mistake of listening to other people and going to university and being extremely unhappy in that position. And also the fact that I had my own little apartment in a city that was totally foreign to me. I did not know anyone there. You know, for someone who has already been struggling with social anxiety disorder her entire life, that was pretty scary, I'm not gonna lie. All of a sudden you're on your own, you have to make your own food, and you have no one around you. And that is the thing with me. I love being around people who I know I can trust and I know I can be myself around, but it's very hard to find those types of people. So whenever I'm alone, I immediately feel lonely. Even though I do have social anxiety, I immediately feel lonely, and that is the worst combination I think I've ever heard of. So you know, the school year starts and I meet this girl on the first day of school. Well, I hang out with her pretty much all day, and then ever since that day, I haven't seen her. So there went my potential chance at having a friendship in the beginning of the school year, because after like 2 weeks, your chances are done. Like everyone has friends and you're on your own, basically, which is something that I did not really like about university and having such big classes, because you are in a, what's it called in English? Like a big auditorium full of like 200, 300 people, which makes it very hard to form what you call a class bond, which is something that I did have in high school and in my current school as well. And I really miss that, you know? Eventually, I did get around to meeting some other people in my apartment building, and I have to say I loved the people in my apartment building. The thing is, the girl I was hanging out with the most eventually stopped inviting me, and you want to know why? It's because I wasn't in the city as much anymore, because last year around this time, COVID was still happening full gas, so we couldn't really go to class every single day. We had a lot of online classes, so you know, most of the time I would just stay home because this is where my friends are at, you know? So whenever I was home, I could just go to class online, then shut down my computer and go over to my friends in my hometown. And I'm gonna be completely honest here, those friends really saved me in that time, because I think that if I didn't have them, my life would have looked a little different at the time. So at some point, December rolls around, and we all know in December is when the studying starts for most university students over here in Belgium. That's what we call the blok. So the blok period rolls around and I start studying hardcore. Like I studied a lot and I thought I was doing really well with my studies. Now, eventually, sometime in February after my exams, I get my results, and guess what? I failed all of them. I had 3 times a 5 out of 20 and 1 time a 9 out of 20. I was so mad at that 9 though, because the subject that was for, I actually really enjoyed and I thought I was doing pretty good at, but apparently not so much. So failed all 4 of my exams. I became pretty disappointed in myself, and I had zero motivation left for school. Eventually, I did go on in the second semester for like 2-3 weeks, and then I decided to contact someone from my school who could maybe help me out with my mental health issues. And basically, this person told me, you can still do 2 subjects for the rest of the year, just do the exams for those 2, and then you'll be good to go, and you can change schools and do something else. Well, I was already sure that I was going to do something else the year after, so I just gave up and gave myself about 8 months of vacation because I just really did not want to put in the effort if I was not going to get anything from it either. So, you know, I went to those exams, filled out my name, and gave it back, which is something I don't recommend doing if you actually want to go for your curriculum. Do not do that unless you're sure you're going to change schools, change, you know, your curriculum the next year, which is what I was going to do indefinitely. And just recently I started back up with my schooling, and I decided to change to Sinta, which is not a university, not a college. It is something else. It is more like adult education, if you get what I mean. And in this school, I was able to choose for an education all about horses, and that includes, you know, working with younger horses, actually riding yourself, but also some theory lessons on things like common sicknesses in horses, how big does a stable have to be, and so much more. There is a lot of information in this year-long education. Next year, I am going to do another education of 2 years, which is all about being a independent riding instructor, which is a dream job of mine, one of my dream jobs. The other one is having my own stables and working full-time with horses and helping people accommodate for their own horses as well. But obviously, there's only a select few people, especially in my area, who will ever accomplish that. So right now, I'm trying to focus on being an independent riding instructor and going places to give people professional lessons, which is what they're teaching me right now, how to teach lessons, and also a lot of additional information about horses, which would be nice if I were to ever decide to go ahead and work with young horses and break them in and all that kind of stuff. That is also a big part of my curriculum, but that's not my main focus. I really want to be a riding instructor and provide professional horse riding lessons, mainly in the jumping discipline, because I myself am a show jumper as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm trying to go with my school life right now. I'm really enjoying this new curriculum. I am so much more happy. I don't have to be at school all the time. Right now in September, October, I only have lessons twice a week, so I only have to be at school twice a week. November, it's going to be 3 times a week, and then depending on the week, sometimes it'll be 4, but mostly 3 times a week that I have to be at school. Now, usually people go to school 5 days a week, so 3 days a week already isn't a lot, and you also have to take into consideration our practical lessons. We can't all be busy at the same time. We only have 1 horse near our class at the same time. Usually there's only 1 or 2 people who are working with the horse at that time, so most of the time I'm just waiting on my turn. But don't get me wrong, just sitting there and watching is also very informative, and I've been really loving my new school. I keep saying it in this video, but I really am. I'm so much more happy, and I guess that's just something I wanted to share with you guys. Just because you are considered smart in high school does not mean that you have to do this super looked upon education like law school or become a doctor. You can also just do what you love and work with horses. And that's basically the life lesson I wanted to pass on to some of you guys, because I know that sometimes pressure from the outside, from other people, can really influence the choices that we make. But it's so important to remember that, you know, what we want to do is also something that's important. And sometimes all you have to do to be happy is follow your heart. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm feeling great right now. I don't have a lot of struggles with my social anxiety anymore. Saw my psychologist yesterday. She said she was proud of me for actually feeling this good, even though my life isn't going super well right now. I'm dealing with some family stuff, my grandpa being very sick right now, and he doesn't have that long to live anymore. I also recently broke up with my boyfriend, and yes, of course, I do struggle with those things on a daily basis. I'm a human being. You may not see that from the outside, but on the inside of my life, so much is happening, but I'm trying to focus on the positives. So far, my grandpa is still here. I'm not that affected by my breakup because I was already hurting so much in that relationship that getting out was kind of a, you know, all that weight off my shoulders. Anyways, I hope everyone's well. I hope everyone's doing okay on this beautiful Saturday evening. I love you guys so, so much. And please remember that any kind of validation from the outside is nothing if you don't get validation from yourself. It is so, so important to love yourself first. And I know this is a cheesy thing to say, but it is the truth, you guys. It's something that I really had to learn growing up. Loving yourself first is the most important thing in your life, because if you're not satisfied with yourself, you are never going to give yourself credit for the good things you do and the things you accomplish. That's something that I'm guilty of myself. I could never give myself credit when I accomplished something when I was younger because I always felt like it was never good enough anyway. So please know that if you're trying, that is already enough. I appreciate you so much for trying. You'll get there, and I'm here for you if you need it. And that's what I'm going to leave you with. I want to thank you so, so much for watching. In case you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, if you would like to see more of my content like this, would also update videos and other kinds of stuff, make sure you go ahead and subscribe down below, as well as turn on those notifications to make sure you'll never miss out on anything I post. And with that being said, I really hope I'll see you back on Wednesday in a brand new update video, and until then, have a great rest of your weekend. Bye guys!